Hey, what's up, everybody? Can you hear us? Coming in okay?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Oh my God, what a fucked up week this has been.
Yeah, all the way down till today. Full of events.
Oh my God, you ain't kidding. It's just been really fucked up. Hey, Saul, what's up, buddy?
What's up,
Yeah,
Saul?
it has been a really tragic week. We lost Charlie Kirk. I know he wasn't for everybody. Some people hated him. Some people loved him. I I was a big fan of him. There's a lot of indoctrination. Well, no, fuck it. Let's call it what it is. I call it brainwashing that goes on at these universities because I've seen it firsthand
Oh, yeah.
with some friends that I know. Their daughter went to college. She got involved in that shit, and I brainwashing. A lot of people think some sci-fi thing. No, think about the environment that these kids get subjected to in there. I know for quite a while, about mid 2000s, you know, kids had to be really quiet about their religious and political views because if you were conservative, you would probably get your ass kicked at some of these places. It was a thing. It happened.
And
But
that's
back,
when I was in college, was, mid 2000s. So it's like, I'm
let
trying to
me let me
remember.
ask you about your freshman year. Were you under a shitload of pressure?
No, because I went to a community college,
Oh, okay, okay,
but it was still like, I mean, I didn't go to a university. I guess it was
okay.
different, but so I went to more. But I mean, still, it's like people my age and stuff like that. And I went for health and human services, mental health
Yeah,
specialist. So I mean, was as liberal as you could come. I mean, I
yeah.
was in the most liberal program there, and I don't even remember. I mean, back then I was a liberal. I was a Democrat. I'm a '90s Democrat. But I don't remember the brainwashing. It really was just like back then we
Well,
wanted to take care of each other, like help,
mainly
help your neighbor kind of
it
deal. And
mainly happens at these higher learning institutes, so called. They hire a lot of they got a lot of professors in them that are radicals, and you know,
oh yeah, well I mean I live near Indiana University, which is highly highly liberal, and I mean they're it's insane over
most
there.
of them are.
I mean, we have the Kinsey Institute over there, which is just absolutely disgusting. From the Alfred Kinsey, the pedo dude, that did all these disgusting experiments on kids, and people in that
Yes,
county over there, they herald that place, and it's
yeah,
like a museum, and like and oh my gosh, it's disgusting to see the community just praise such a disgusting institution.
yeah. Well, from what I've been told about it, they're on a tight schedule. You know, the scholarships and all that shit, they only pay for so much. You got room and board that you got to worry about. You got to try to find a job, and trying to find a job in a college town is like next to impossible. They are subjected to these schedules where they're having to bounce over the place. Uh, a lot of them said that their professors, they can pretty much tell what kind of person they are, and they want to pass. So it's a lot of these kids go in there open minded, and that's the problem right there. They're open minded, and they get fed all this hogwash
I
by
agree with
these
that.
radicals. It is so easy to be brainwashed in this kind of environment when you're fucking zipping and going, and you're so worried you're trying to pass, you're cramming for finals, and all that shit is so easy
I
to
think it really
fucking
depends on who your professors are and who your
yeah,
influences are,
yeah.
because one of mine was an old black guy named Willie Williamson or something, and he was just a
Oh, Willie.
jive. He was a jive turkey, and he told you how it was, and like he literally he'd be like, if you're paid more than 25 cents for a roll of toilet paper, you're doing it wrong, and like just basically he was very like down to earth, but he was, to help and teach these very liberal classes. So I didn't, he wasn't like a bleeding heart type of beta male. You know what I mean? He was actually
Yeah,
like kind of a tough, kind of a cool dude. And I learned a lot from him, and none
yeah.
of it
You
was
can.
indoctrination that I
Yeah,
remember. So again, I'm not sure, like, I know it has always been there, but I just don't think that where I went or at the time, because a lot of my friends weren't like that either. Like I said, one of my best
Yeah,
friends went to Indiana University, and she's the biggest conservative you'll ever meet. She is a
yeah,
Republican through and through. Her husband actually runs for stuff, and she went to that super liberal college. And she was like on the rowing team, and she was like very involved. So she was in clubs and all that, and she didn't get indoctrinated either. So I don't really think it was that bad in the early 2000s. Definitely not compared to what it is now.
yeah. I
Because
know.
my
Yeah,
friends did go to the big schools. You know what I mean? Like they still turned out to be
yeah.
good.
Some do, some don't. My friends, their daughter went, and as time went by, they always come home on the holidays and whenever they can, bring their laundry, need some food and groceries. And as time went by, it started tapering off. She was involved with some people, big time leftists, and it came down to the politics of it. She was totally against the conservative people, which her parents are, and after college, they hardly communicate any at all. They'll call during holidays, leave messages, but she never returns them. They said, and that's been going on for quite some time. And I just it's heartbreaking, really. But some
Even
people,
in certain jobs, like in the bartending world, it was very liberal actually, because during the convid crap, so many of my former like coworkers and just associates and people that I had known and worked with for like the last 20 years, they were all just falling in line. And I mean, they were they had lost their job and they just didn't care. They were fighting for it. So the certain jobs, so like bartending, like bartenders, for whatever reason, they are more like liberalized. And then
not here.
yeah, that's what's weird. Is like you wouldn't really think that, but it was so crazy watching, like I said, all those people that I knew just kind of fall into this monotony of I don't the liberalism. It was just shocking to me. So it's like, so then again, it's like, well, maybe they did get the brainwashing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. It's
I mean, I
hard.
hate using that word, but you got to call it what it is, And you're open minded and you're being just rushed here and rushed there, and you're in panic mode most of the time. It's really easy to do.
Oh,
Uh,
a real good friend of mine who was I met her working in the bar. She was my manager, and she ended up being like my big sister. I mean, we
yeah.
got really close, and then her parents were elderly, and then we had different views on the whole masking, and she basically accused me of wanting to, her mother because I wouldn't wear a
Yeah.
mask, and I was like, first of all, we live 2 hours away. That's not even reality. But how could you ever say that to me? Like, I know your mom, I love your mom, but she was so in that, like, the brainwashing, that she was like, oh, you're evil because you won't wear a mask and you're trying to kill my mother, even though we live 2 hours away and it's never going to affect me. But it was big enough to ruin our friendship until like a year ago she tried to re-add me on social media. um,
Wow.
but I was like, until I didn't see, and a message that was an apology. You know what I mean? Like, I'll let you back into my life if you come right. If you're like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I abandoned you or accused you of awful things, and I was wrong. But you don't just get to sneak back in.
I'm trying to find this deal on a certain professor at Arizona. It's no longer in my history, but they bragged about what they were doing.
Oh, so I've had to stay off of it. I can't handle it as sensitive as I am, and like that's why like I haven't really been on anything because I cannot handle the idiots like praising it. It's literally they're literal sociopaths and psychopaths, and I'm not saying that like to be like hyperbolic. Like when you wish like that's what those like we need to look up the term of psychopathy, and it's these crazy people that are, you know what I mean, that are just happy that this innocent, God fearing father got murdered. That's you're a
Yeah,
psychopath.
I'll tell you what, I'm getting so sick of seeing it because every time I see it, it makes me sick. And that's TMZ on Twitter because they did you hear what they did? They
Yeah, I
fucked
did.
up.
Yeah.
And now they're oh, Charlie Kirk, this, everything is like most of the shit that's going up is Charlie Kirk. I'm like, you guys make me fucking sick, dude. You know, and they, I saw the video that they were supposedly talking about the, was it a car chase or something?
That's what
And it,
they blamed it on, yeah.
yeah, well, but somebody showed the video, and let me tell you, it was a no thrills thing. It was fucking ignorant, and they they're lying out their ass. They are.
There's a
But
lot of that
suppose,
going on. I mean, just
oh
everybody's.
Jesus
I
Christ!
mean,
Oh, Israel's behind it. No, the right wing's actually behind it, and this and that. And you look at the facts. You know, some of it goes to the trans community. Some of it goes to Antifa, and you know, it's just fucking nuts. And from what last thing I heard, he is not cooperating. I heard the boyfriend, the trans person. Last thing I heard, they are cooperating, and everybody's cooperating except the kid. So you think, what's your conspiracy theory on this one that you were trying to tell me?
um, well, for one thing, I'm still not buying the engraved bullets. We mentioned that, like you said something about they're stamped, but up until just
Yeah,
10 minutes ago, I heard that they were engraved, and that's a boomer thing. Like nobody engraves anything. Maybe if you go buy a ring and you're there at the jewelry store and they ask if you want it engraved, but nobody is like that was a World War I, World War II thing that has fallen out of practice. And then also, supposedly, Luigi Mangione had his bullets that were engraved as well. So to me, this is just out of the same playbook because I didn't really believe that one either.
yeah. Well, what
This
about the that was it trans shooter that we had just recently that had all the hate speech on their weapons?
I didn't. I don't know about that one.
Well, God, man, this whole Charlie Kirk thing's like,
Well,
is just recently too. The one that opened a fire like a couple weeks ago, I think, at the Catholic school. Um,
see, I didn't get my. I can't handle a lot of that stuff. I don't like it. It's just too, and that's what they want. They want us to be traumatized. It's uh, mass formation psychosis. Like everybody that saw that, which I didn't have a choice. I didn't want to see it. I was scrolling on Twitter, and there it was. So that's why I decided to stay off fucking Twitter.
yeah, I
But
don't blame you.
like we all now have trauma based mind control over this, and like some people are really falling for it. So I'm kind of a I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't like it, but it was completely planned. I feel as a intuitive. I feel like it was a third party that I've not been able to identify yet that paid a smaller local unhinged group to do this, and that white hat was it all was completely orchestrated from the beginning to the end.
Yeah,
That white hat guy with his with I when dudes move their cap. They take it off, they put it back on. They don't do a little baseball nudge and then nudge their ear, and all of a sudden the dude next to him gets shot. Like it was choreographed. It was choreographed to me. So
I saw that.
I
My only problem was, I mean, I'd have to dive into it more, but from my end, it looked like, yeah, he did that, but he's facing Charlie Kirk. And unless they're like relaying it, somebody that's relaying it all the way back to them, I mean, that where he was, that shooter wasn't going to see that. There's no
the fact
way.
that he was in a bright white hat, Chris,
I
that
know,
alone is
I know.
that's
But
easy to that's
yeah, from way back there, though, you're not going to hardly
and
see
the fact
that.
that there was nobody standing behind him, nobody else to take that bullet. A lot of times
Well,
there's people
he's not that. Yeah.
there's a lot of
Go
times there's
ahead.
like an audience sitting behind him, there's students sitting behind him, you know what I mean? Like it just
Oh,
depends
behind
on how
Charlie
this
Kirk.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a lot of times there's people behind, other audience members or special students or whatever. So just
I'm pretty
the
sure it won't. Yeah.
entire thing from beginning to end was choreographed. It was completely intentional, and we will never know the truth.
Yeah. Um, I'm pretty sure that's going to end up getting discussed at some point, and they're gonna find the answers to that shit because it's just too.
They're trying to they've been trying to start a like a race war and like a political war and a religious war. I mean, and this is all rolled into one right now. So I mean, I've
Yeah,
never seen. I mean, after Trump got shot, there was a lot of right wingers who were kind of banded together and patriotic and stuff. But this time now, people are pissed, people are hurt, and that's when
yeah.
they act. That's when you act out, like. Oh, and then the guy that screamed like USA USA after the shot rang out or whatever. Psychologically, that makes zero sense because there's no way that you would stand up when you don't know if they're done shooting. So again, he knew they were done shooting.
People are
That was
stupid.
it was a distraction, and it was part of the choreographed stuff. So even the guy asking the question, they go through those questions prior. You know what I mean? Those are you don't just pick out strangers in the audience. Those are pre-approved. You submit questions. That's all pre-done ahead of time. Those
From what I saw, I thought everybody was welcome up there. But what got me is that, everybody that does it's on their cell phone, trying to, I don't know what they're pulling down. I mean, if you're going to debate somebody, at least do your homework ahead of time. But yeah, I've got pulled up here. He identified as trans, killed 2 children, and injured 17 others. And they show his weapons. They're uh, names of Adam Lanza and other mass shooters on one of the gun magazines. Uh, there's a lot of stuff
Lanza
on
was
there.
the Scandy Crypt guy, though, right?
I
So
believe
that
so.
I don't believe that either. So again, I
No, this
came.
is what he put on the weapons. I mean, they
I know,
found
but I'm
this
saying
out right when it
I.
happened.
But again, it's all staged. It's also staged, just like the JFK thing. Like when I was 13 years old is when I went to my little library and I rented the JFK movie, the documentary or whatever. So like at 13 is when I got like into this kind of stuff. And even back then, it was like we didn't know who did it. Now pretty much everybody who looks at it will tell you that the driver did it. We now have looked at the evidence, we've got the video, and it looks like the driver reaches around with his left hand and shoots him. So but it took us how many years? 60. So I don't know. And again, nobody will still supposedly Dan Bongino and Cash were going to release everything, and we still didn't get everything. So
I think
and
it
it's
is.
because the people are still alive. There's this whole thing where if the people are still alive, they will not let that info out. So they're going to give it until about 80 years, so that to make sure that anybody that was possibly involved is gone, and then we will get the information. So maybe
And
my grandkids might get the truth on what happened to Charlie Kirk.
I don't think it'll ever come out because you know that shit's already been sifted through. But in all honesty, as much as we deserve to know, I think it needs to be released, but it needs to be released to the family first and go from there. And that's that affects them the most, and it's on them. But yeah, there's a lot of hate speech on it. Where's your God now, and shit like that. Um, Say it's
This
staged.
this
In a way, I think it is, but it's sending a message out, and that's what Antifa is doing. And I heard a friend was talking about it. They don't believe in Antifa. I'm like, Antifa is a real thing. They've come out, and they're more visible now more than ever, and
I
they're
kind
not
of don't
shy about
believe
it.
in them either. They're kind of this just these lefty tards that are fuzzies
They
that
are.
that
They
that think
are.
that they're this club or whatever, and it's like
They are. When they first came out, I was like, oh yeah, they're sitting there posing with pictures, and it looked like they had Nerf guns,
they're
but
very unintelligent. I mean,
they're
that's
well, yeah, look at 'em. They've come out from the colleges. That's where it's all started from, and they use Discord. But they're a thing. Trans Antifa is a thing now. But they come out when they have this shit going, and they got their own flags flying, and yeah, they're not very smart, and they're not very
not a single one of them can even tell you what a fascist is.
yeah. What you're doing is pretty much fascist, but it's crazy. It really is. Antifa's thing, even if it's not they at least they need to be on a terrorist watch list or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, domestic terrorists or whatever. But
And I posted something. Let me find this real quick. Uh, Oh, let me go to my profile. That'd probably be quicker, wouldn't it? Um, there's a right wing person here that really pissed me the fuck off. I know I have some sound problems when we're doing this shit, so I'm not gonna do it. But if you go to my profile, you'll see it. I call this person a fucking retard. Uh, Her name was Laura Loomer. She's a journalist, and it's being reported that Tyler Robinson, the man who assassinated Charlie Kirk, was living with his transgendered boyfriend, who was transitioning to a woman. Trans people are a national security threat. Their movement needs to be classified as a terrorist organization immediately. And for the rest of my comment, you know, you're a fucking retard. Charlie Kirk would have never wanted something like that to happen to anybody. That's fucking ridiculous. That's being hateful. And, you know, that's just going to cause more shit. And he's already got enough shit because they're saying, you know, he's hated people for this, he hated people for that. And it's quite the opposite, really. I've got the video right here. Trying to find it here. Good God. I got so many damn windows open here. It's ridiculous. Go ahead and keep talking while I look for this real quick.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is that, like, people that they don't believe in God, and as someone who, like, I believe in a higher power, I'm not specifically a Christian. I respect and appreciate the Christian religion as I do most other religions, but to see that and not believe in God, like, first of all, Charlie was going to die one day regardless. So take that out of the whole thing. You know what I mean? He's going to die. But for it to happen this way, he's definitely a martyr. He's definitely a lamb of God. I mean, the fact that it was the way that it went, he went instantly. He did not suffer. You know what I mean? Like, God did protect him in a way. Like, he got taken out, and the ripples that this is going to cause and the amount of people that are being brought to God or brought back to God or brought back to their church is literally everything Charlie would have wanted.
Okay, I finally found it. Do a screen share. And bombshell. All right, here we go. Now, this starts off saying he advocated stoning gays to death. Just saying. Can you guys still hear me? And trust me, this ain't going to be a whole Charlie Kirk episode. We got other shit we're going to talk about here. Turn up the volume here, and all this hate speech. Put it to rest right here.
Just actors online, the reality was that Charlie Kirk was actually quite moderate and very accepting.
I'm a gay conservative, and I just want to ask you, what do you have to say for people like me who kind of feel like, I guess, it's kind of hard for gay conservatives because there's not a lot of us. So, like, what do you have to say to other gay people who need to realize, like, they do have a choice?
Yeah, first of all, welcome to the conservative movement. I don't think you should introduce yourself just based on your sexual attractions.
No, I agree. I like
because that's not who you are.
I like to be thought of as a person, and
for sure, you are a complete human being, and I'm sure you treat people well, and you're studying something. So I want to get away with this idea that you're gay anything. I just think that we have gone a long way in the negative direction in this country, where we act as if the most important part of your identity is what you do in the bedroom. It doesn't mean that much to me, but if you ask from a perspective as a Christian, I don't agree with that lifestyle, but politics is about addition and multiplication. I imagine you agree with a lot of what we talk about.
Absolutely.
Right? Strong borders, strong country, and for that, we welcome you into the conservative movement.
Thank you.
It seems to me and anyone who's paying attention that conservatives just believe whatever liberals believed 5 years ago. Right now, there is a push by the left to normalize pedophilia by way of child drag queen shows and rebranding pedophiles as minor attracted persons. 5 years from now, will you be promoting child drag queen shows?
Oh, that's
will child abuse become part of the conservative platform?
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, sir.
So are you sickened that he had a gay man speak at his convention?
Yes.
Then you're not a Trump supporter, my friend. So let me ask you a question. What if you had your way, what would you do with gay people in America?
What would I do with them? I wouldn't.
Yeah, because they're not allowed in the conservative movement. So would you just kick them out anytime they show up at a Republican Party? If you were in charge, like, what would you say? You can't be part of the Republican Party.
If somebody is advocating for being openly homosexual, yeah, they should not be part of the conservative movement.
So every
mic drop
so
time.
I just want to go through the list. Guy Benson, no place in the conservative movement. Dave Rubin, no place in the conservative movement. Peter Thiel, no place in the conservative movement. So that just to go down the list.
If they are supporting open homosexuality.
So
yeah, no.
I'm going to ask a very respectful question, as respectfully as I can. What does what they do in their private life concern you so much that you have to go up in front of a crowd? And
It is against God. That is
So let me
why.
ask
Are
you
you
a
a
question.
Christian or not?
do we live in a theocracy? Yes or no? No. Do we live in a theocracy?
You said you're a Christian.
I am a Christian. And do you know what? And guess what? I will say this. Part of being a Christian is appropriately interpreting what the theological says for the individual, but also means to be long-suffering and patient and loving and kind. Jesus Christ talked to all people. Jesus Christ went and did his ministry through Judea and Samaria, and he had dinner with tax collectors, and he had dinner with prostitutes, and he did his ministry in every part of the Mediterranean. What it means to be a Christian, my friend, is to be open-minded but firm in your beliefs, so you can have that belief. But if you say there's something inherently wrong with communicating or associating just because they make different personal decisions than you, sir, are not a conservative. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. I also immediately, when this happened, thought that it was connected to maybe someone that he had embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like someone that he had debated, and so that they were going to get revenge on him.
Oh yeah, as far as hate speech goes, there's a lot of professors out there that hate them because they've had some of them come up on those debate things and they get smoked out and they get pissed. There's
Yeah.
some older man came up wanting to fight him. And,
Yep. So
that
it's
was just
easy.
fucking stupid. But so I've been participating in some shenanigans with this shit. You've heard a lot of people like lost their jobs. I
Yeah.
don't get it. You're exercising your right of freedom of speech, but guess what? Freedom of speech has consequences, and the whole First Amendment that is for the government. Private organizations that doesn't play well in there. They can fire you for you running your fucking mouth off. Tell your
Well,
boss he's a fucking whatever, and that's not freedom of speech. They'll get your ass fired in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, exactly. And here's one thing I do remember is again bartending back in the mid 2000s. Nobody talked about religion or politics at the bar. It
Yeah,
was known. You don't talk about that. And basically, if you were a bartender and someone it was an unspoken rule that if politics or religion got brought up at your bar, you quickly change the subject because it would um make at least one. It's likely going to make someone uncomfortable because not everybody's going to agree, and so then you're going to lose customers. So like you quickly nip that shit in the bud. Like you just so that was like just a social thing. Like you generally knew not to talk about it, but even if you had a few in you and you got the nerve start bashing Clinton or whatever, we would step in and be like, nope, we're going to talk about something else because we didn't want the division. Now it's like everybody's just that's what they fucking do. It's all they have to do is just stoke the flames and no.
thank God I didn't have to search for this one. I hate Facebook. Yeah, I got it on there, and you tab out and you tab back. Facebook will fucking boom. It's gone. It moves on for you. Um, this happened here in Edmond, Oklahoma. This guy, Christopher Rispoli, Charlie Kirk, right wing stupid buck MAGA activist, shot and unalived on Utah campus. He is only the first. Could we actually be getting smart and calling the sick ones? Oh gosh, I want the offer his family my thoughts and prayers. Bink, bink, bink. Wife and two kids right there. So, oh boy, this is gonna be good. I love this one right here. This is fucking awesome. And I took it a step further. Well, somebody else did, and I went and started showing it to the world. Because come to find out, this guy, let me show you what's going on here. Boom. Somebody had his comment printed up on vinyl sign, and it was across the street from his veterinary clinic. Yeah. This dude is gay. And somebody posted something else about it. And I'm like, oh, really? I can't repost it. I got to go look for myself. We have a what's called OSCN.net, Oklahoma, trying to remember what it means, Oklahoma State Court Network or something like that. You can go in there and look at all the dockets and stuff. And this person, his domestic partner, has child pornography charges on him. I'm like, oh my God, that's the icing on the cake right there. So I got that out, and I seriously doubt that he's going to be in business much longer because people are pissed at this shit, and especially right here in Oklahoma. I mean, there's only I don't know how many states. There's only a couple of us that are just totally red.
Yeah,
So,
we're one of them.
Indiana is? I thought you weren't.
Mm.
Yeah,
Indianapolis is blue, but Indiana's red.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. All counties are red here. We don't have a drop of blue anywhere. So, let's move. Let me see here. I think I got. You got anything else to say before we move on to our next subject?
I don't think so.
Uh,
I just don't believe that what they tell us. Like, I'm not like a deep, crazy conspiracy theorist, but there's too many things that, like I said, I see it as choreographed, and I see it's not what they're making it out to be by any means. That kid's not going to cooperate.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people saying, it's a professional, and since the get go, I've been saying bullshit. 30-06 at
I'm not a professional, and I could make that shot.
I can make that shot, and I don't get out to the gun range enough. I can make it, and that kid's background is they did a lot of hunting.
Yeah,
And we can make that shot with iron sights. We don't need a scope, but we could do that easily. And yeah.
Still, though, I still just don't believe that he's going to sit down and put shit on the bullets. I just think that that's planted. It just, to me, that's just extra. It's a creative writing story, and that's an extra detail to me.
Well, some sociopaths will do that though, because they want to leave their mark, and they want to send a message.
This kid would have had a history of that, though, Chris. If he was a true psychopath or sociopath, because I looked it up because I was like, when has this been done before in history? And it tried to say, oh, this has been done a lot, and then I was like, but it would just give Charlie Kirk's, and I was like, other than Charlie Kirk, and then it gave the Luigi Mangione, but then other than that, they could not give me another time that it happened. They just say that it was often in the that they did a lot in World War I and World War II. But they could not give me a case in like recent history where the bullets the casings, I'm sorry, not the bullets, but the casings were engraved. And so to me, it's just like, that's pretty ironic that it was done twice within the last year of like a major case, because that was just December of 24 that happened with Luigi. So again, twice in a year, that all of a sudden these young kids in their 20s are breaking out an engraver. It's just, I don't believe it. So
they're nuts to begin with, but we'll have to see.
But again,
too early.
It said that does add like a psychological spin on it, or like a different level. And again, okay, but Luigi supposedly did it because he had back pain. That's not psychological. You know what I mean? And then also this guy, we're talking about like Dexters. A Dexter would do that. A psychological, sociopath would do that, not a kid on his first murder.
Yeah. What gets me about all this, though, is, the left still won't condemn all this violent shit. And you've heard me say this before, all the way back to the election, even before that. But mainly, I started mentioning a lot when they had the DNC. There was one thing that stood out more than anything, and just about everybody that spoke said the same words over and over again, and that's fight. Let me show you this.
Yeah, I saw. I believe that.
Jasmine Crockett, pick up a weapon. We're at war. They want us dead gone. Yeah, this is not how a member of Congress should be talking.
Stories every day. Now, y'all, as you can imagine, the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk assassination
I hate
continues,
this bitch.
and
I really do.
the back and forth finger pointing between the Democrats and Republicans has heated up. And this could all be expected, right? I mean, this was a monumentally traumatic event, and people are still processing it, and people are still trying to understand, what do we do now? Like, what comes next? It's end of civility. This is the end. Right. Seriously, in the first place, she's the worst person to be opening her trap at this time. Their gripes, right? Because nobody's a saint.
Where is her
Nobody's
talking?
above reproach. But they couldn't even let the man have a week. You know that it helps us out a ton, and of course it helps. And we're back, y'all.
Where
Thank you
is
for
her
watching
talking
today.
and
Go ahead and hit
saying
that
all
like
this
button,
shit?
my people. You know that it helps.
Who the shooter was, with no allusion to.
Just filled people on Capitol Hill who knew him personally with so much rage, anger, and sadness. And there was a lot of high tensions, a lot of crazy things said that maybe a day later the tensions are slightly lower. But that being said,
people are pissed.
I do think that there's a debate happening in the conservative sphere right now about how to respond. Is it an eye for an eye? Is it war? Is it... I'm not sure I'm seeing a lot of appetite, frankly, for the coming together of this.
So there you have
so I
Abby
can
Phillip
talk shit to
asking the
this
question.
You what?
This whoever's in our chat written off. Sorry to
Yes.
say, but how can you sit there and say because he's a kid he wouldn't do that? Because again, nobody that's under 40 years old engraves anything. Period. Maybe you know why? Because they didn't used to have permanent markers back then, so they engraved things. Now we have lasers, we have permanent marker, we have Sharpies. No kid, no 22-year-old is going to take an engraver or whatever and do this on a casing. If he was like a sociopath, he would. And if he was a sociopath, we would have a history.
Yeah, dude, I'm feeling better. I know I'm 52, dude. Rittenoff's a good guy. This is open debate. Nobody get mad at anybody else
school
here.
shooter? What school shooter? Again, skinny.
The Catholic school shooter a couple weeks ago. Or maybe it might have been 3 or 4. The one I was telling you about. All his stuff.
So again, you guys aren't seeing that's like all of a sudden it's like a fad then? Like that the ones that get caught have this? You guys gotta be smarter than that. You gotta be able to see that that's a pattern. You quit believing authorities. Like listening and believing authorities. So like when we go to are we gonna do the UAP stuff?
Yeah, here in a little bit we're gonna change subjects. Tiffany Washington is saying very, very true. This is true because
Thank you, Tiffany.
When they caught it, no, I think she's talking about this. The person was caught. They had it all over the weapons. It happened. It was released as it went down that his weapons were marked with all this shit.
Again, and you guys don't see that this is all an agenda.
Well, it is.
Okay,
it is definitely an agenda.
Okay, so if it's an agenda, what's the agenda?
This is Antifa shit.
It's not to get gun. It's not to stop. It's not gun control.
That could be all part of it.
That is it. That's completely what it is. It's gun control. This is all a setup. Unfortunately, Charlie Kirk was a martyr. It's all there is. People. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. If you guys can't see it, I can't help you see it.
Come on.
I guess I have a different part of my brain.
Okay, let's move on.
Suck my dick, written off. It's gun control, you little faggot.
Hey, no. Come on, Araya.
If they're coming here to talk shit, Chris, I'm going to talk shit back. He started it.
All right, Randolph. He's...
Again, I don't like these little, like Gaseous last week was starting shit. Like, yeah. I don't know why you want, undesirables in the chat.
Because no,
No, that's what I'm saying. Tiffany, thank you. Tiffany agrees with me. Actually, thank you, Tiff. That's what I said. See, me and Tiffany are on the same page. She said very true, right?
Okay,
Actually, about I was agreeing with the casings.
Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Again, I did go to school. I did study sociology. I don't. Maybe that's why I understand people. I took behavior classes. I don't know.
Okay. Now, moving on to something that also happened this week was UAPs. And if you're curious what it is, the main difference is that from a UFO, I believe in UFOs. I don't believe they're not necessarily aliens. The only thing it is what it says it is, unidentified flying object. It could be from anywhere. It could be from down the street. Somebody's flying something. You don't know what it is, so that makes it UFO. Anyway, UAP is an unidentified anomalous phenomena, is a broader, more neutral and inclusive term. God, are we doing that to this shit now, too? For anything unexplainable in the sky, sea, or space. Come on, guys. Don't be insulting everybody, each other like this. Let's not do this. God. Anyway, in Congress this week, they were playing this video.
Enjoy your band.
Oh my God, people!
I mean, if you're gonna have the balls to call me a bitch, enjoy your band.
Yeah, don't be calling names, please, guys.
Again, lick my dirty butt crack. It's very dirty right now. I was out in the hot sun for hours. Come and clean it. Come and clean it, written off. Tell me what it fucking tastes like.
All right, let's don't do this, please, guys. Everybody.
Come on, you know.
I mean, people are going to have different opinions on everything.
Tiffany's fine. And again, we can have different opinions, but you're not going to insult me.
Yeah, no insulting, no name calling, anybody. God damn, that just derailed my train here.
Tiff is good.
Trying to find it. Let me just look this shit up. Supposedly, this is still pretty damn fresh. Here it is.
Plus, motherfucker couldn't even talk. He said, what do you say? Done it or whatever. Like, his English wasn't even, like, readable.
Whoops. I just missed it. There we are.
At least have a fucking GED if you're going to try to talk shit.
Okay, so supposedly they had 2 drones out and they were tracking a UAP. And they fired a Hellfire missile at it. Now, Hellfires are usually air-to-ground missiles, but they can be used in multi-role things like this. Share this. And this is what happens.
So not an elected official, but someone in staff blocked us. And I've had it. Enough is enough. I want to cue up a video that I've been given.
It's all being blocked.
And as before it starts, I'm going to describe. This was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. You cannot see that drone. And so I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what it does.
Now, they're getting ready to shoot the Hellfire at it. It's going to bounce right off the damn thing. It's hauling ass. Boom, there it went. You see that? And it kept going. You know, a Hellfire is for tanks. It's heavily armored. Actually, here, let me slow this whole thing down. There we go. I don't know how. All right, here comes the missile. You can see it right there in the corner. Boom. And bounced off. You can see down here below there, half of it there. And you got fragments that broke off of the target. And it keeps going. Hey, Mandy.
Will's here.
Oh, he is? Awesome.
Yeah, William. We talked about this a little bit last night on his show.
What, the UAP?
Yeah.
So, that happened. Allegedly.
Hi, Mandy.
I'm still having a hard time coping with this. When I watched it, that seems like a weird angle for one of those missiles to hit at, you know. I could be wrong. I'm not a professional with that shit.
Why were they, without knowing what it was, why were they trying to blow it up?
Why not? I mean,
I don't. So just to preface this,
yeah.
I feel like I'm part alien. You know that I'm all about the whole thing. I don't believe anything that our government is telling us about this. There's zero disclosure. In fact, like a decade ago, I was really big into some disclosure groups about this kind of stuff. And all of those people have evaporated. Like they don't exist anymore. The groups don't exist anymore. It's really weird. But back then, out my apartment, I saw dancing stars. And there was just these, they'd happen like almost every night. It was these 3 dancing stars that they were like, that's the best way to describe them. And then I made friends with this chick, and she was like, she said again, I said something about the dancing stars, and she looked at me, she's like, you see them too? And I was like, yeah. And so like there were these it was crazy. So I mean, and then now I live out in the middle of nowhere, and we have like, I can see all kinds of shit in the sky, all kinds of shit. And I have every single like flight tracker and plane tracker and all those little apps. Like I've been kind of obsessed with it since I moved out here. And there is so much shit flying around that they are not tracking and they are not labeling and that we do not know about. So unfortunately, this is cool. It's cool. It's cool. Like, but first of all, what do you expect? Like our technology is nothing compared to theirs. Shooting a little missile at something that is like, has a force field around it, or you know what I mean, or just some whatever that we don't even know about. It's like hilarious that we're even trying to do that. And the fact that they're just disclosing this little bitty piece right now, it's like, what are they trying to? This and the Charlie Kirk thing, it's like, what are they trying to keep us from seeing? Like, what are they passing? What are they doing under our noses?
All right. Well, since you mentioned that, then here we go. Is that what you're talking about right there?
Oh, or is it my dancing stars?
Yeah. It's happening in broad daylight, too, right after a storm.
There was only 3 of them on. It was all the time, and they were like choreographed, like dance together, and they would zoom in and they'd zoom out, and like. And then I told my neighbor.
There they are, right there.
I told my neighbor about him one time, and he whipped out his telescope, and then we this is nobody there, everybody's gonna think I'm a liar. There was 4 of us that lived in that one apartment building. All 4 of us moved out within the same 2 months of each other. It was very weird that all of our leases were up and we all disappeared after I told everybody about these dancing stars.
Yeah, they were out there. Some people will flip out about some stupid ass shit though, like Starlink. I mean, have you ever seen that getting launched? It's fucking awesome as hell. There's like just a string of lights that's heading up. It's pretty cool.
Mandy, I think it could be spiritual too, for sure.
Oh yeah. And just so you know, I'm Christian, but you know, if you read the Bible enough and you find the description of angels, I'd be, yeah, you see one, you'll probably be fucking scared shitless because they're not what you see in paintings and shit where they're wearing a white robe and a halo and they got wings. No, that's not what they look like. They look like fucking monsters. Better censor that.
I think William and I could get into some crazy deep conversations about some of this stuff next time he comes on our show about the spiritual aspect, energy aspect, frequency, what we can see, what we can't, why. You know what I mean? Like, I think he'd be pretty cool at. He explains things better than I can. Like I said, I'm just basically a stoner who knows a lot and
Yeah.
has a problem repeating it.
So I went to a professional. He has his own page, ProPixel Video Analysis and Research. They try to clean up a lot of this shit and debunk what's real and what's not. That's pretty interesting right there. It's the tic-tac-toe UFO leak. I tried finding this one article. It happened here in Oklahoma. It was funny as fuck. They had somebody was transporting a drone, point A to point B. Well, why didn't they just fly it? It's experimental. That's why it's not being flown. And it was on the back of a trailer, and it was saucer shaped. And people are stupid. They were freaking the fuck out about it. There's the drone right there that they made. So anyway, go down here. He debunks a lot of this shit. A lot of people, or tries to anyway. And see, try to find these ones. This is very interesting right here. This
really, really crazy. Initially, I kind of dismissed it as that's something just blowing in the wind. But then after I started really digging into the details of it, there is something highly unique and unusual about this object that's flying through the air. So here's a guy and his dog. They're in England. They're on the side of a hill.
Darwin again.
He's recording on his phone in slow motion and catches this object, just flies into frame from the left and then flies over them. So what I want to do is really dig into the details there. But first, let's look at where I found this. So this was That UAP Girl, Hollywood, is where I saw that. And Nicole Freiter is actually who sent it to me, right? I believe That UAP Girl found it on Facebook, so it's out on Facebook somewhere. But you can check out the link. I'll include it in the like the first comment, like I usually do. But let's go back to the video. So here's a shot where I basically I wanted to see what the track of the object was, and this doesn't really work very well because that's in the way. But so let's do this. All right. So what I did was I ran it through, did some contrast work on it, and then I did trails. So essentially, you could see how the object flies into frame and then flies over them. I removed all the distractions off to the sides. So you can see it flies in from the left, and it's really moving left. It's perpendicular to them as it's flying in the frame. And actually, it looks like it's flying in the frame kind of like almost head on like this. And as it's coming in, it's kind of tilting up a little bit and into the center of the frame, so it gives it that elongation that happens. And then it reaches this point where it decides to come this way, and it turns, right? It turns itself so it actually shortens according, from the perspective of the camera, and then flies into frame and over like that. So this thing actually turned, and it was a significant turn. You can see it's like perpendicular to directly towards. So this is really a fascinating piece of data. All right, you can really, really see that. I mean, just look at that. That's amazing. It just really, this was an intentional turn. And as it was coming at them, you can see it starts to bend, right? It starts to arc. And like I was saying before, this was a really bright day, so you're not going to see much motion blur. It's going to be pretty clear. So if we pull up a couple more of the images, let's look here. Let's look at this guy. So here's one of the better frames. I was just looking at the overall shape of the object. Looks like it's a tube. There's something going on the tip, and we'll look at that in a second. at the end here where it's a little bit darker, it looks like if you roll up Play-Doh and you run it into a tube and then you just kind of pinch the end of it, it kind of looks like that. It's flattened, like it's scalloped. So you can see that it's just flatter, and here's the shadow from it, right? Scalloped and turned just a little bit towards this. So that way it darkens that area a little bit. But there's light fall off all on the sides. This thing looks three-dimensional to me. I believe it is a tube. And there's just another closer shot of the scallop, so you can see the details in there. I didn't run any AI on this. I just left this pretty clean. Left it alone because it was pretty clean just from the recording, because of the recording conditions. And now we're going to touch on something that is one of the more fascinating aspects to this, because when I first saw it, I was like, man, is this just like a blade of grass or something that's flying through? But after looking at all these different bits and pieces, I don't believe it is. So now realize 140 frame or 240 frames per second. It's going to have I'll let this play actually while I'm talking about it. So daylight conditions, 240 frames per second. It's gonna have a very high shutter speed, probably in the order of 1/1000th of a second plus. This thing is not moving so fast that it's going to cause a lot of motion blur. So I believe what we're seeing in the clip here is the actual shape and size of the object, right? I don't think that there is any motion blur involved here. The only blur that we see is on the very tip, the leading tip of the object. You can kind of see it in here where it looks a little blurry towards the top. All right. And we can go to a detail of that. So right here, I did edge detect, and I did some contrast work on it and everything. So you can see there's something going on here where it's almost like, it looks like it looks like plasma, right? It looks like plasma to me that's kind of coming out of the side, but I don't know what it is. All we could say is that it's an area of higher light intensity. So there's something happening on the tip of the object. And the thing that is interesting about it is as it's flying, let me see if I get a better. Okay, so if we look at it like this, we can see how it's coming in the frame now. So this is flying up and in, and you can see it's a little messed up color-wise because I have the colors pushed pretty hard, so we can see contrast. And I was really wanted to add some detail here to the front. So I pushed and pulled on the colors a little bit to make it more obvious of what's actually happening up here. So you can see there's something going on the tip. And now it's more significant. And now it's falling off the tip and kind of coming back. And now it's totally collapsed. So whatever happened there at the tip has ended. And here's the most interesting part, at least observationally, that I could see from it. Okay, so this thing's flying in the frame. It's bent away. It actually has like an arc to it, right? So it's got a curve. And then as it moves, it starts to present this flash on this side of the top, which then begins to straighten it out. See, that bend is coming out of it. And now it's a lot straighter. Right there. Now it's out of frame, but whatever that was, that actually changed the shape of the object. It made it pulled the front over. And is that due to it flying over? I don't think it is, because if anything, as it flies over, that bend should become more exaggerated, right? Because it's getting closer.
All right. So that's that. Anyway, a lot of people are thinking that was a balloon. That a missile doesn't hit a balloon and bounce off of it. It just doesn't. Hellfires were tanks.
But tanks are just a physical big piece of metal.
Yeah. But
again, to think that we could even put it to even I'm embarrassed that we shot at that. That's all I have to say about it. As I'm embarrassed that we even shot at it, because that's laughable. That's like I don't know. I can't even think of it accurate. It's like a flea trying to hurt my pit bull. Like that flea's gonna my little pit bull ain't gonna feel that at all. The flea's gonna get bitten and eaten. Like It's not gonna hurt the pit bull. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I loved Independence Day though. What a great movie. We got him then.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say something real quick about Mandy's, what she said, or was it? No, sorry. Yeah, the atheist went to disprove God and ended up turning into a Christian. There's because I totally do believe in a higher power. I just can't say that mine is right. I was a Christian, and then when I learned about religions, when I got a little into teenager, I just was like, okay, whatever. I can't decide that ours is right. But there's a cool quote that says, "The first gulp from the glass of natural science will turn you into an atheist, but at the bottom of the glass, God is waiting for you." And that's like super true. Super true. You might think that like you're smarter and you don't like, but you don't know shit. And then after you actually finally learn a bunch, then you realize, oh, there is a God. So most people that go out searching for a God will find him.
Yeah.
Even if they're trying to disprove it.
True. Okay. Well, it's been an hour. I know you got a lot of shit to do.
Well, I didn't even say why my camera's off this time. This is the second. My donkeys got loose earlier. We're filling up their water trough, and they decided to take off. And so I've spent 3 hours out in hot ass second summer Indiana sun trying to get a couple jackasses wrangled up, and I finally got them when it was dinner time. So I didn't have time to set up anything. This time it's not just because I didn't do my face. It's because I couldn't set up lighting. I couldn't set up anything. I just literally got them in, ate dinner, and jumped on here. So I've kind of been phoning it in today too. I'm really exhausted, guys. So sorry if my brain's a little laggy today. I need a nap.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, well, we're going to call it quits for now. And we'll be back on again next week. I don't know what we're talking about yet. We'll figure it out, though, between here and there. And
awesome seeing you guys. Thanks. Sorry if you come in here talking shit, you're gonna get hit. Like that's just I'm from the '90s. I'm hood. I mean, I'm not one that's gonna take that. You're gonna respect me. You're gonna respect Chris. You're gonna respect everybody else in the stream. You know what I mean? Like this isn't Dabbleverse fucking shit fest. Like I am a lady, and you will respect me, right, Chris?
Yeah, but we gotta keep cool heads, everybody, including you, including me.
Yeah, like I don't have no problem with I mean, again, and we could disagree. I did the Mackenzie Cirillo stuff, and you know what I mean. Not everybody agreed then, and we had a civil discourse. There's no reason to come in here acting like an idiot.
Well, I mean, people are going to come in here and bust balls. That's going to happen.
Gaseous, you were fine tonight. Not a problem.
We'll talk about this more later. It's no big deal, guys.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Anyway,
Will, awesome seeing you in here. Maybe one day you'll see my face.
Who is that?
William. Will Fixed It is William Archibald.
Oh,
duh. I've luckily been able to catch his streams. Like the universe is just like
hard. He's hard to pin down.
I've got
works.
Well, yeah, but for whatever reason, the universe is like we're on this. That's what I was saying. We're on the same frequency, man. It's like boom. I was like 20 minutes late to his one last night, but I love it. I love being able to nerd out with the stuff that he knows. Like we know so awesome. Much of the same stuff.
He is awesome. Love him to death. Check him out. Let me find his link real quick.
And Will, you remind me so much. I used to have a great friend of mine. We were good friends for 20 years. I was his sister from another mister. He was my brother from another mother. We were roommates. We were besties. And he got cancer. And then he's not with us anymore. But you remind him a lot of me. He was a mechanic, just the way you guys look, your voice. You remind me of Brandon. So, yeah, it's kind of cool too. It's like, hey, but love talking to him. Love it. I can nerd out and talk about black goo and all kinds of stuff with him.
William, real quick. Okay, what's your main channel? So I can pull it up real quick.
The Ratchet Productions.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, I got Ratchet in there, but I couldn't remember the rest of it.
I think. And he calls us Controlled Chaos, which I almost like better. Like, I was like, dang, that is good.
There it is. There we are. I
Organized,
found it.
controlled, same thing.
And all right, I'm gonna put this in chat real quick. Guys, check him out. He knows his shit. Good friend of
Very
mine.
entertaining, yes.
I like going in there and threatening everybody, like share and subscribe, or like what I say. What I was like, we'll send Pelosi to your house, drunk, over acid naked, or something like that. So I'm about ready to post another link up, and when I do that, I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on. I have now doing my gaming. Whoa, hold on. Noise too loud. I'm moving my gaming, my Scream stream. It's still going to be on YouTube, but I am moving it over to Twitch because I was told I need to do this. I am getting ready to go play with the big boys, which is a pretty big deal. I'll be in with devs, stuff like that. And I don't know if anybody pays any attention to the gaming streams. I know we see a lot of people that does shows like this where they're just talking. Uh, I haven't seen one yet that pulls the numbers that the gamers do, and that's even on YouTube. You know, where people got 200 or 300 people watching, they got their numbers up in the thousands. So I'm getting a good opportunity to, hopefully propel this into a higher direction. So
that's cool.
So that's my Twitch channel, and it's still on this channel on YouTube. You can still see it. You go by that name, Organized Chaos. Yeah, anytime, dude. Anytime, man. I love you, brother. And say hi to Steph for me. And I guess we're going to call it quits. You ready?
Yep, I'm more than ready. I'm tired.
I was wanting to do another hour, but that's fine.
Well, luckily the boys are already up, or else I'd be running to go put the donkeys up. But you know what I mean? Luckily, I did get them put up right before we started, so at least I don't have to go. Motley's still running around out there, though. I got a raccoon running around. I guess he might be on his own for the night.
We need to come up with a Motley t-shirt. I'm getting ready to start putting out merch, so we're going to have
organized chaos with Motley as our as a mascot, kind of. Other than even the little symbol could be another.
That's
an
what
idea.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in.
And have a good night. Have a good week, everybody. High vibes. Be positive.
Hopefully nobody gets shot this week. God,
stay away from all the dark evilness and find a ray of light. And everybody have a good night.
I'm a ghost hunter. I have to run towards it, damn it.